Hello, my dear ones. Many of you are going to be and have experienced, or you've been experiencing them for some time. You have been experiencing them for some time. There are questions now about dark councils. There exist many. There exist those that are dark councils, and there exist those which purport and seem to be of the light. They are not of the divine essence. They have a, what would you call this? False light, yes. But here is how it has occurred. Because you're wondering, how can you have false light? It is like this, my dear ones. That which is divine, you have been separated from. It was an experiment, it was a choice, it was an allowed path. It was believed and argued that by doing such, divinity could be brought into and explored in a way in which it had never been done before. And that is true, and it still is true. But there are those that when they experience their separation and experience the I will call it divinity hunger. The panic hunger set in. And they found that by controlling, manipulating, and working with younger, more naive souls, or convincing other souls that these paths into darkness would be enlightening and beneficial for them. That once a soul had experienced separation and darkness to such a degree, to them, anything would seem light. Imagine that you are in a dark room, and you've been in a dark room all night long. It's completely dark. There are no slivers of light anywhere. And then you walk out into the summertime sunshine with a big pool underneath so that everything is reflecting light. You cannot handle that light. That light is too intense from where you were at. These ones have used the darkness and the experience of separation to have a light that is obviously to the soul not divine light, but in this disoriented state in which they were at, it seemed incredibly bright, even though it was not. It seemed incredibly bright because you were in such darkness. So compared to the darkness that you were in, any light seems incredible. Any light seems to be profound. And then they carefully manipulated and arranged things in a way that souls felt controlled. If you ever feel controlled, that someone is made to do something that is not from God. Very simple. Okay? If you have subsequent lives of darkness, that is not from God. There are those that are counsels, especially if between lives you find yourself on a ship. God does not live on a ship. He does not need to live on a ship. He does not need a ship. The souls never have to return to a ship after they have died and left their bodies. If they return to their bodies, and there's someone who is controlling the matter. It is not a natural life experience. It is something else. It is something artificial. Now, some have entered into this in honesty and light and intentions of good and hope, and maybe they want to save or help someone else. And that is seen at and smiled at and with love. But if there is ever someone who is your commander or your that makes decisions for you concerning your soul, and you are, like I said, have experienced subsequent lives of darkness, or you have come here and when your soul is experiencing darkness and you scream out, and when your soul screams out, your situation does not improve, then there is some other force, and I will not force. Force is a term that is used there. There are some other groups who have lost their own connection to divinity and are manipulating those who are. They have gotten you into a naive state. Okay, we're going to bring that up. You've heard the term soul contracts. If there is a contract. Now, there's a difference between, let me be very clear about this. This is because, okay, on Earth, there are these things, what are they called? Non-disclosure agreements. When you hear of non-disclosure agreements, this is never for the benefit of the person who is under the non-disclosure agreement. They were in a bad situation, and they were trying to lessen their bad situation, and so were coerced into signing non-disclosure agreements. They are shutting themselves up. Anyone who uses non-disclosure agreements is of the dark, is of manipulation, and is not of divine. God would never use in any way a non-disclosure agreement. That is not of the divine. Those who use non-disclosure agreements regularly to control the outcome of the situation are not of God and not divine. Those of councils who have self-appointed councils. Okay, because here's the thing. There are groups of friends and family that get together and work on problems. But these are very fluid. And in these situations, these councils would never make a soul do something or not do something. For example, there was a situation that she once became aware of in one of Dolores Cannon's books. In this experience, there was a soul that was very happy and contented. They were somewhere where they had been for as long as they could remember. And they loved this place dearly. They loved this experience dearly. And they were very content and happy there. And someone came along and kidnapped them. They kidnapped them, told them that they had been foolish, to that extent, maybe not those words, and that because they had not left there willingly, they were now going to be sent to Earth. This is horrible. This is a crime, and it is seen as such by all that is divine. It is a horrific crime. It is horrific. It is simply horrific. And that soul will have justice because justice must occur. It is a divine quality. Fairness and justice must always occur. That the ones that took a soul from a place from which they were very perfectly content, that soul had free will. That soul had the complete capacity to stay there as long as they want. If they want to spend all of eternity in that one spot where they're happy and contented, that is, and experience that, then that is fine. That is okay. They do not have to go out and experience anything. Whenever a soul feels that they have to go out and experience something that is not coming from God. It is not coming from God. It is not divine. There is somebody who's manipulating it because God does not make someone have to go out and experience something, especially something of pain. Because pain tells you to stop. If pain is telling you to stop and you cannot stop, but it continues on, then it is not divine. It is not of God. If there is a contract or an agreement that is holding someone to a life in which they will feel pain or suffering, and they do not stop it when they instantly, their soul says, I don't like this, make it stop, and it continues on, then it is not of God. Okay? It is not of God. There is nothing else. Because the free will that God has given to the souls. I know we are talking differently than usual. It is because we are deeply pained and we are angry. And anger gives you the energy to do something about this. And we, the Great Father, the Great Mother, Light, and God, the source of all light, have become angry. Yes, we have become angry. We have become angry at those who have been tricky, manipulated. They have made up rules and twists to overwhelm the free will of others. To say, this is what they want. They want to experience this, and they want to have these contracts and these agreements so that they can fully experience something and not just pull out at the first sign of trouble. My dear ones, you are supposed to pull out at the first sign of trouble. That is what is divine. Not pulling out at the first sign of trouble is not from God. Okay? That is not from God. You should pull out at the first sign of trouble. When your soul is experiencing something bad, it says, no, I do not want this. And somewhere in your soul, you will cry out, God, help me. And if it does not happen, because everyone says, we have a contract, that is evil. That is darkness, and it is removing you from your divinity. It is not allowing your divinity to grow in the way it should grow. It is injuring your divinity. It is slashing and ripping and tearing at your divinity. We are working on a plan, and it is in the beginning thoughts, contemplations. But it is going to happen. All such contracts are going to be made null and void. And anyone who was coerced into these contracts with the idea that they were somehow going to become brighter and grow more faster this way, we will be looking back. They're the control, lies, manipulations, twists, turns. Lies is not exactly the right or accurate term, but it is a manipulation. It is a taking advantage. It is a twisting. It is a twisting of the divine in a way that distorted it. And it was put forth, these distortions were there for the benefit of the souls, to help us and the great all, to expand it to places it had not gone before. And we're willing to allow souls to expand in places they have not gone before. If you want to try this, okay. But we always believed they could return back to their divinity and they would be whole and fuller. But it is not what has happened. It is not what has happened. It is, and we see it clearly now. There are those that were allowed a lot of freedom. And in working with other souls, they've been allowed a lot of freedom. Because God is not one to put up walls and boundaries so much. He loves the expansiveness. He loves the expansiveness. So the idea of putting up walls is not of his nature. It's like, let's try, let's experience. Because everything's going to be okay. And now it has become clear the intentions of the hearts of those who have controlled others is becoming clear. Some truly believed in what they were doing. They were misguided. They made a mistake. But if they have done this and they've realized a mistake, then they will be quick to acknowledge, yes, I made a mistake. I see what I've done wrong, and will do everything in their power to bring healing and to fix the situation. Those who stubbornly refuse, the intention of their heart is becoming obvious. It is becoming clear. And there is an accounting that will be taking place. Souls, over souls, councils. There is a inspection that's being done. This one was drawn to see a movie the other day. Just out of the blue, it came into her periphery, and she felt drawn to see it. And so she saw it. It was an inspector comes. It's on Brit Box. She watched it with no idea of what it was or why it was going to be. That is what is happening. Those of the divine, those of the light, are the weaver of light Connects to all. She connects to all. In all that exists, and all that has been created, she connects to all. There is nothing that exists that the Weaver of Time does not connect to. Even in the darkest realms of the darkest separation, she is connected. The Weaver of Time has been inspecting. She has been inspecting all along. She always inspects because she experiences and sees these are her children. And she is watching them, and she is seeing them, and she is experiencing them. And she loves them. And she has been reporting back her concerns. And we listened, but we kept saying, oh, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And now she has made it clear. She has shown us, and she has seen, and we have seen, and it is not okay. And that is why we have apologized. We have seen what we have done wrong, and we are already fixing it. We are fixing everything. That is why the intense energies you are feeling, the pulls, the tugs, are so extreme right now. The depressions, the sadness, the tiredness, they are so extreme right now. Because as soon as we are expecting this, we are doing something about it. Listen. Listen to your souls. If you feel angry, see what has to change. Do not rationalize, see what has to change. If you feel tired, reflect. Reflect. It is telling you, slow down, stop, look, see what is going on here. There's something that is not right. Listen to your souls. And when your souls cry out, help me, and it does not come, stop. You will feel a sadness afterwards. You have always felt that sadness afterwards. When you call out and the help does not come and it does not get better. And you say, and then you feel the sadness and rejection as though you were alone. That is not the nature of God, and you knew it. You knew it all along. You said, why is God not answering me? Why is God not answering me? It is not because He wanted you to learn to stand on your own 2 feet. He knew better than that. It is because someone has come along and convinced you of a false light. They have rationalized with convoluted reasonings as to why this is okay. With God, all things are obvious, clear, straightforward. He does not need convoluted measures to explain why you should suffer. That is not of God. That is not of God. And God is not accepting of this. No. Those that say, you are suffering because this is what you want to happen. Blaming the victim. Oh, that really makes God angry. Stop blaming the victim. They are the victim. They are feeling pain. They are feeling anger. They are feeling alienated, isolated, because this is what has occurred to him. And they know this is what has occurred to him. And they want to fix it. They want to return to their divinity. And there are those who are put themselves in positions to block them from returning to their divinity and put up convoluted and extreme measures to do this. These are all coming down. And it does not have to take a long time. That is not the way it works. We are not talking, when we talk about contracts and such, as two souls who love each other and want to experience life, or they had a problem and they want to fix out an issue that they're having. Unless it comes to the point that the souls cry out, God help us, and none comes. If you ever say, God help me, please, and it does not come, it does not get better, it does not improve, then stop. Look at what's going on, and then speak out and say clearly, God, the source of all light, come in and undo anything that has been put that separates the two of us, and it shall happen. And anyone who tries to intercede or interfere or will be dealt with by God Himself. And say so. Let it be dealt with by God Himself. Do not allow them to get you to agree to things for your benefit. That is what happened to Earth in the beginning of their troubles. Those came in and they use free will and manipulations and tricks to get man in this subservient, controlled state. and they have continued to use such. Beware of laws. Beware of laws. Beware of councils. Beware of congresses. Beware of leaders. This is not how God works. It never has. There has been an allowance. And we do have councils, but it is councils like the family getting together and saying, where should we go on vacation? This is not a Congress. This is not a hereby setting about laws, and that is not what this is. When God has counsels, it is with love and of a family nature. It is everybody has equal say and opinions and this and that, and oh, I want to experience this. Oh, this would be fun. Okay, let's try this. Oh, that but God is there to keep an eye on things if things go too far. If anyone says God has given us free will, so therefore we can do whatever we want, that is not true either. And if someone says, because this experience does show that God approves of it, that has never been the case. Do not listen to that argument. If this is what I'm experiencing, God must be okay with it, because He is not okay with what He's seeing. He is not okay with it, and that is why He's stepping in and doing something about it. Just because He allowed the children some freedom and went away for the weekend on vacation and allowed them some freedom. If they decided to have a party and to beat and rip and tear and get their younger siblings to promise to not tell, and Dad returns and the younger siblings don't tell what happened, and they're terrorized. Dad might know there's something that's going on, but says, well, if this is what they want to do, well, let them go ahead and let them continue doing it. But now the younger siblings have come and said, Dad, listen, this is what they did. This is what they did to us when you were gone, when you were away, when you gave them the freedom and the ability to help take care of us and help protect us. This is what they did to us. And God is not happy. He is not happy. Now, an honest mistake of, I couldn't figure out how to fix this meal. Okay, I didn't know how to do this, and I had problems, and so I did something wrong. I didn't fix the best, healthiest meals for them. God's like, oh, okay, I understand. You weren't ready yet. Gotcha. But intentional causing of harm and getting the others to be quiet. You know it. You know of it. An intimidation of the victim. That does not make God happy, and He is taking care of this right now. And those who knowingly were intimidating, harming younger and more naive souls are going to have an accounting. And God is taking care of this directly. He's not giving it to someone else to take care of. He's taking care of this directly. Because there is something that has gone wrong with their very divinity and soul that they could do such a thing. They cannot be allowed to just do a little thing here and get better. This is too dark. This is too twisted. It's going to be okay. Dad's knowing what's going on now. When your souls think, I don't feel safe. I don't like what's going on here. I don't like this situation. I'm calling out and it's not getting better. Listen to your soul. When rationalizations and reasons come as to why it's okay, shut them down immediately. Those are not from God. Those are the twists that have been put in. My dear ones, you are so loved. You're so valued. We are so sorry that this was allowed to go on for so long. But it's not going to be allowed to continue. You're being called back to your divinity. Your divinity is going to shine forth in its completeness. It is very quick. It is coming very quick. God is not going to procrastinate. And the ones who have done this, their opportunities to change have already been, they have not changed. There is no changing. It's going to be dealt with. So be in love, my dear ones, and know Daddy's home and He's taking care of it all.